series of 10 webinars on what is new with GP 2013. And this morning I'm going to be reviewing some of the accounts receivable and sales order processing new features with you. I will demo most of them. I'm not going to demo everything, so I just want to, but I'll at least speak to them. So the agenda today is to review the accounts receivable new features, to review the sales order processing new features. We'll allot time for Q&A, and I will suggest some next steps for you if you would like to learn more. Okay. Also, just as a note, the next presentation is next Wednesday on inventory, and the following one is on report writing. And these webinars have been so successful that I believe we're going to try to continue one or two a month and continue to expand upon more information about GP 2013 and just GP in general. And this webinar will be no more than 30 minutes. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is reviewing the accounts receivable new features. The first thing is a reminder that I know it's not a new feature, but that collections management is now supported and sold by Professional Advantage instead of Microsoft. So if you already have collections management, and again, we talked about this in the very first webinar about licensing for current customers, just keep in mind that you will need to be registered with Professional Advantage, and that GP portion of the service plan allocated to collections management will now be paid to Professional Advantage. I think it's good news because I believe their Professional Advantage is planning to come out with a new version of collections management, and I think you're going to see a lot of new features over time. And if you own it and you're not using it and you have accounts receivable, I would recommend that you take a look at it because there's a lot of great features with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you document attach. I'm just going to tab over. And I'm going to go here. And if you went to my AP webinar, then you saw that. I just wanted to review that again. So now this is a new function, and again, it's not available on every window yet, but you'll see that it is available in some pertinent receivable and sales order processing menus. The document attach feature allows you, instead of going through the old OLE notes process, to click here and pick documents. And I just opened anything. And you can have unlimited documents. You can do descriptions of them, and you can preview them. And when you're done, just click OK. So if you have, for instance, contracts with your customers or signed service agreements with your customers or any kind of pertinent customer-level documents, you can have an unlimited number of documents. Two things about it. Again, a reminder, if you've attended the other webinars where we discussed this, these documents are stored within the SQL database, which means if the originating document is deleted or changed, these will not. The minute you attach them, they're attached as a record to that customer in the SQL database, and they will not change, which I think is a good thing. So the other thing about document attach is that you can also have a default location in which to pull documents, and you can also have the option to delete the record from that default location if you want to just attach documents and then delete the original. The second thing, oops, sorry about that, is new customer address fields. And these are things that I know customers have been asking for a while. And I think this is also a very good thing. So if you go to address, you have a ship-to address name. And so you know you can have multiple ship-to addresses. And we've worked around it by either using the address 3 field, or we've we've changed the contact name to the address name, but now we actually have a separate field for the address name, because sometimes the ship-tos are to a totally different company name, totally different address. So you now have that option. You also have the phone numbers here and the option to print which phone number that you want to print on the actual ship-to portion of the sales order. The third thing I'm going to show you is cash receipts. For those of you who have a multi-currency management in your system, you know now that when you invoice a customer in a currency other than the functional, when you receive a receipt, a cash receipt from that customer, you can post the receipt, but you cannot apply it. You have to then go to an Apply Documents window to apply it. It's extremely cumbersome, and it never made sense to me, but evidently it was a programming issue that needed to eventually be addressed. And I'm happy to report in this version that you can now apply a multi-currency cash receipt at the time of cash receipt entry. So if I go to cash receipts entry, the functional currency as for all of you who know Fabricam is US dollars. I had posted an invoice for Aaron Fitz Electrical in pounds for $3,852, well, pounds. Then I now have a cash receipt also in the same amount, but also in pounds. And if I go to Apply Documents, you notice I can now apply it. So that's new with this, and good news for anybody who's used to having to take the separate steps to Apply Documents. The final enhancement is there is an average exchange rate calculation method. And if you want to read more about that, it's in the What's New. None of our customers have ever been concerned about an average exchange rate calculation method. They almost always use the spot, but I do want to make you aware that that is the final new enhancement in the accounts receivable system. Okay. And I neglected to mention on the cash receipt entry that the cash receipt currency has to be the same as the originating invoice transactional currency, or you cannot apply document at the same time. So in sales order processing, the first thing I want to show you is that same sales order document attach. So you'll see the attached document. Now this icon looks different because there aren't any documents attached to it. The other one in customer maintenance already had an attachment. So you'll just see a plain paper clip if there aren't any. So if you have a purchase order from a customer, you have other documents that are somehow related to the sales order, it's the same thing. You can go to any place at all in the server. You can find your document, attach it, and then the icon would change if you attach the document. I just want to show you the ship-to address here. So I have a ship-to address called primary here, and you'll see that this is the ship-to address name, which you can, of course, change on the sales order. And again, you can change the option of which phone number, or if any, that you would like to print on the sales order in the ship-to address bucket. The next thing I want to show you is suggest sales orders. And this is something, and anybody in distribution has always asked for, and there was a third-party add-on that did offer that, or we could write something custom, but I think this is a nice new feature for anybody who's trying to do those add-on sales. So I'm going to start with item maintenance. Sorry if this is one of your Fabricant items. I don't even know if they still sell dual-core servers, so it's an old item. But you'll notice now there's a new button called Suggest Items. If I open this up, you can pick the different items that when a customer orders the original item that they might want to add. So if it's a phone, you might want to offer some kind of a cord to go with it. So whatever it is that you are selling, you can suggest others. You can also pick what document types you want the suggest items to be related to. A quote, an order, an invoice, or a fulfillment order, or all four. And you can also do suggested quantities. And basically all you do here is you just do a lookup. Just keep in mind this is test data, so not terribly relevant. And I doubt the current standard cost of a server would be $65,000, but just to show you that. Now I'm going to hit save and close this window. I'm going to go back to that order. I'm going to put this original item in. I'm going to sell one. And I must not have saved that last item that I had added, but you'll see you can kind of then talk to a customer if you need to. Of course, I picked something. I'm going to just overwrite charges I tell all my customers never to do. So you can actually pick which items based on the conversation you have with your customer. You can drill back to availability of the items in the item inquiry window. And when you're done, you click OK, and these items will actually show up on the sales order. The last thing I'm going to show you with the sales order is the ability to print back order items on picking tickets. So if I go to the print option and I pick picking tickets, you can now say print back ordered items on the picking ticket. That doesn't mean you have to, but you do have the option to do it. And if you do pick that option, keep in mind you do have to format the picking ticket so it's clear that it's a back ordered item. And I'll just show you the out-of-the-box one so you'll see what I mean. This is one of these is the back ordered item, but it really doesn't show. Actually, none of them are, but even when I had a back ordered item, it really didn't show much differently. So I would probably do something with the document so it's clear that it's back ordered. So I just wanted to show you that option. The final two things that I'm going to just speak to and not demo are the ability to consolidate invoices. And the reason I'm not going to demo it is there are several conditions that you need in order to be able to consolidate invoices. The first thing is you have to have deployed the advanced distribution module. The second thing is you have to have enabled the workflow that goes with the advanced distribution. And there are a series of other requirements. So I'm just going to show you the window and suggest that if you would like to learn more, we'd be happy to show it to you and work with you on it. But now you have a create combined invoice. But remember, you'd have to have the advanced distribution. You'd have to have, it has to be on a fulfillment order. You have to have the workflow enabled and in order to be able to do that. But if you do click on that, then all of the different orders would be able to be combined. And the final thing I'm going to show you is in the sales order processing setup. that you have the option to consolidate drop shipment purchase orders. So I'm going to alt here. And if you go to sales order processing to the options, and you can, with drop ship sales items, you combine different ship to addresses on one sales order into one PO. You can also combine different ship to addresses from different sales orders into one purchase order. So again, if you'd like to see more and explore more of that functionality, if it's relevant to you, feel free to contact us. At this point, I'm going to open it up to questions. And just give me 1 minute. Okay. So I have a question. Does suggest items show up after entering every item, or is it optional? If you, we'll go back to this. So let me pull up that item. If you set up an item to suggest other complementary items for the additional cell, and if you say for that document type, then every time you put that item number on that document type, whether it be an order or a quote or an invoice or a fulfillment order, then when you tab off that field, this window will open with the additional sales items suggested. You could close the window, but it will show up each time for that particular item. For items that do not have suggest items, this window will not show up. So I hope that answers that. I'll give another moment if anybody wants to type in any other questions. Looks like that's it. Okay. And I don't know what happened to that last slide because it's there. Well, thank you very much for attending. If you would like more information, let's see. I don't know why that slide didn't. There we go. Okay. The next session will be next Wednesday. At the same time, it will be covering what's new with inventory, so they'll probably zero back in on suggest items, including the other features. And this will be published up on our blog and on YouTube. So again, thank you very much for attending.